What's up, duelists? Today, we're doing a replay review between Beast Beats, aka Crops, and Roundnook. Beast Beats sent me this replay and he was like, yo, review my replay, bro. And I was like, James, let's review this replay. And James was like, what were you like, James? What were you like? Tell the people.
I was like, yes, let's
Yes,
also review this replay.
exactly. That's exactly how he said it. So we got this cool replay between Beast Beats and Roundnook. We already know Roundnook's on Frogs because that's all he plays. Beast Beats is
Who do you think
on
won the role?
Quick Draw. Who do I think won the role? Well, Crops sent me the replay review, so I just assumed that he won because nobody ever sends us a replay that they lost.
What do you
Ever.
think he picked, Rock?
I think he picked
I think we just missed it on the stream, but yeah,
Paper. Yeah, I think he picked Paper, and I think Roundhook picked
okay,
Rock. I could
okay,
be wrong
makes
though.
sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. It
Are
checks
we
out.
are we showing both hands or are we showing just
You're actually right though that people don't really send replay reviews that they've won or that they lost. Sorry.
yeah, nobody ever
Uh,
sends a replay that
you
they
should
lose.
you should show both. I think
Yeah,
I because
totally.
there's just more to talk about. We're two people. Like I feel like if it's like one person and you got your like soul sync going on with the guy you're watching, then you're like in their shoes, you know? And
Okay.
and then it's kind of cool to comment from that perspective. But since we're two, we can kind of like tackle more of it, you know?
As predicted, Beast Beats did win the rock paper scissors. So
Yep.
yeah,
Good call. He probably did hit rock there.
his hand
Um,
looks really
Bad.
fucking bad.
I don't like this hand.
Roundhook's hand looks equally bad. I actually don't like this hand at all. I mean,
Looks a little better, but
it does look a
and
lot better.
because like Beast Beats has a bunch of reactive cards, and that storm could come up really big if he decides to take the risk.
Yeah. Also, I want to comment on something, and I've been playing Frogs a little bit more lately. I think Battle Fader has probably fallen a little bit out of favor. The -1 from it gets punished a little bit harder nowadays than it used to. That's just something I wanted to comment on before we get into this. Maybe
I don't
be
agree, but let's go.
you know what?
Let
You know
can
what, James?
go.
You know what? Hey, you don't agree? Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see if it's
We'll
as
see.
good.
I mean, it's certainly not doing a lot for him here.
Yeah,
Not
that's
a
what I'm
very
saying.
proactive
Like,
card.
imagine if
Like
this
I
was like a
can't argue with that.
Moray here or something.
Imagine if it was a
Like,
swap frog.
imagine if it was a one
His
for
fourth
one
copy of swap frog.
or a foolish
Yeah, sure.
burial. Yeah, like what? Okay, so we see a pro storm from Roundhook. Now,
I
uh,
don't see any reason to do that here.
I don't also,
Like
especially in game one, when you know
it
they have
would, and like,
this
and they
card.
don't see. Here's the thing too: is like, I mean, I guess Rana always does play Diva Frogs, right? Like the amount of times that I've seen him use anything else are very few.
I don't think I've ever
But
seen him use anything else.
he's played me with a Morphtronic tip one time. Um,
Are you fucking serious? Are you
but
fucking with me right
but
now?
if my opponent knew I was playing Frogs, I think it would be pretty unlikely for them to set an MST or a Storm or something like this. Um, but if they don't know I'm playing Frogs, as they kind of wouldn't because it's turn one or turn two or whatever it is, then they might set, like he might have set the MST if he didn't know Ronick was going to be on Frogs. And in that case, it would have just gotten end phased on the Storm. So I feel
Yeah.
like, especially just given all those things, it's a risky thing to do. It's just like it also means that you have to storm fast. You know, it's like you have to use their storm basically at the first opportunity. You're going to risk either shutting off your tree war frogs or just it being more likely to be popped by something. And this is a hand where you can kind of see from Crop's Beast Beat's hand that like if Ronick was able to just like hold the storm for a while, it could get a ton of value. It's still going to get value, but like I don't know. I
If
don't like it.
if I'm Beast Beats, I also don't set Book of Moon here. I don't see a reason to set this. If that's a Ryko, like
I would
let's
set MST if he's got the back row, you know?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like your MST is now live, so you can set it. If they target it, it's chainable.
Right. And
Yeah,
even if you are under the assumption that he is playing frogs, which sure is reasonable, like MST is going to be one of the worst cards in that matchup. So like even if
yeah,
you are punished by setting it somehow, like it's not a card you care about losing.
totally. I don't think setting Book there is the right move at all. And I also don't think drawing like this from both players is the right move. I think they're messing up by drawing like this. You know, that's
Killing
just
her.
yeah, deck building error.
And so if he
Okay,
just passes, what do you think about that? Would you go in with a monarch there?
I wouldn't have heavy stormed, but I would have gone in with a monarch. Just because, like, what could they have? Even like you could even just press with
Which
Archer.
monarch?
You could also just press with Archer. You could do a bunch of different stuff because if you summon Archer and they torrential, then you search Swap Frog and all of a sudden you're winning the game. You know what I mean? Like you should commit more guys
So
to the
just like
board.
normal summon Archer pass. I mean, it
No,
is a little more tilted.
you can normal summon attack, or you can normal summon
Yeah, yeah, oh,
flip
I get
dupe,
you.
like try to equip the dupe. Like
I don't think I would equip the dupe.
okay, then
It's also like,
you don't have to do that. I mean that gets blown out by a lot, but you
yeah,
could just
exactly.
you could just normal summon Archer, flip the dupe.
You know
They
what's
can
actually funny? I don't know if I would have done this, but he could have summoned the Archer, equipped the dupe, flipped the storm, and just search a swap frog.
yeah, like there's a million different ways this could have happened, and actually that doesn't even sound too bad. I just think
Yeah,
that
that sounds pretty good.
when your opponent's doing nothing and you have a really safe play, why are you not playing it? Like that's just a
Well, he also doesn't know what he's playing. I think that's the big X factor here is like because
even
like something like putting the Archer on the board does leave you open to something like Ashura or
okay.
things
So
like this.
here's my counter argument, right? If you summon Archer and you flip the dupe, they have to Shura over your dupe frog, which gets your engine going, which is what you want. And then your
Wait,
brain
why would they have
control,
to Ashura? Oh, oh,
they have to
if
attack
you
the dupe
equip.
frog. No, if you just flip the dupe frog, don't equip it. Just flip it to protect your
Well,
Archer.
but then you're Shura over the dupe and then search either a Gale or Kalute, swing over the Archer
And
and
then your brain control's live. It plays into your
yeah, but
hand.
then
It
you
turns on
still
your
have
hand.
Beast Beats would still have a lot of cards, you're still like kind of
Then
trading down.
at that point, like I would still just summon the Mermaid Archer and still just attack. Cause like worst case, they haven't done anything. They haven't summoned
I think
Ashura.
summon Mermaid Archer attack seems like a fine play.
And
I'm
also
gonna keep it real with you.
they haven't summoned like a Fire Dog. They haven't summoned Ashura. It's been multiple
Yeah.
turns. If they had one, they
Yeah, or
would
set any Raikou or anything.
yeah, they would have done that if they had one. They just don't have one.
For
Like
sure. It definitely is a little passive. I'm not like the most mad at it because like Frogmon or Diva Frog, whatever, is like obviously a deck that can kind of grind out a longer game. Also, keeping the Archer in hand does mean that a drawn Moray later is more likely to be live, which I think is pretty relevant. Like I think Ronak also often plays in that way to make sure that his draws are going to be live.
like
So just a counterpoint.
maybe, but I do think also Diva Frog, one of the weaknesses between Diva Frog and something like maybe Quick Draw Frogs is that you are 100% normal summon reliant. If this Dupe Frog gets removed, like in any way, all of a sudden your hand sucks. You know what I mean? Like if the opponent, like let's say they go like Red Med Drago, all of a sudden like you're down bad. Like that's you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
I get that.
Beast Beats draws another bottomless, passes again. Again, a little awkward because now the Typhoon's in his hand and not in play, and you don't want to commit too
Yeah.
much into a storm.
I mean, I think okay, well now the storm gets flipped, but it's like why now, right? I mean, he has 6 cards, so maybe he's feeling a little more pressure to do something, but still, I feel like it's definitely a why now.
Yeah. Also, there's no reason to do it now because
Yeah, the drawn was a soul.
nothing has changed, and you can't actually commit any of these monarchs right
I mean,
now.
is he gonna do the Archer equip play now? But it's like now that Beast Beats has 6 in hand, it's just
It's just worse.
more likelihood to be able to deal with that more easily.
Yeah. Like if you were gonna
So
do
it's kind of
this,
weird.
you would have done it on the last turn. Doing it now doesn't make
I
any.
guess so, and I agreed, I guess, with not. I mean, because you didn't have a follow up. I agreed with not doing it last turn, so I think I probably just wouldn't have this turn.
I
You,
yeah.
this is something you notice in Goat format. I hate bringing up these comparisons, but like, especially just because Goat format has so much more draw pass. Like, Beast Beast is the one that's going to hit 7 in hand first. So assuming he doesn't draw a monster or not a good monster, like he's going to be the one that has to either set a third spell or trap or discard at the end phase. So if anything, it's worth it to hold it at least one more turn just to get the 3-for-1 rather than the 2-for-1.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think that like if you're gonna play this game plan, right, which is the like if you were gonna play the aggressive game plan, you would have done it on the last turn. If you were gonna play the passive advantage game plan, you wouldn't make this play. So it's kind of a confliction in what Raunuk's game plan is, and I think that you need to really have that sort of like foresight, like you said, knowing that they're going to be the first one to draw to 7. They're going to have to play into your storm even more, and so I don't know. I agree with you. I agree, basically.
Well, I mean, we're like watching this replay in real time, and I'm like, what is he gonna do now? Does he summon the archer? I guess.
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
that's what he does here, and I mean he could have done it last turn, he could have done it this turn, whatever, just
And I mean, actually, like, Beast Beast still doesn't have a lot going on, but he does have the brain control and stuff to deal with the archer in a pretty efficient way.
yeah, yeah, totally. He also has a book which can clear it if he really wants to.
That would proc the Duke Frog.
Yeah, it would, but you could do it as like a
Pro-
chain link too somehow. You know what I mean?
Probably if it guy like me, I'm probably just like foolishing for Dandy, like setting some traps, passing.
You could you could foolish for Dandy chain Typhoon on the Dupe Frog, like make it miss timing and shit.
Oh,
Like
that's kind of interesting. But I would be planning more on tributing the token, like banishing the Duke Frog attack over the thing with Caius. That's what I would be trying to set up for. And since you have so many traps, I think it's unlikely that that would really get disrupted, you know.
yeah, yeah. You could also just set book
But
here.
let's just see what he does, I guess.
You know what I mean? You could just do
That would be
nothing.
my play, I think, here.
Just set book.
Oh, that doesn't seem like what I would do.
Yeah, this is
That's like the opposite of what I would do.
I mean the heavy storm is gone, but still setting multiples is like you risk them like I don't know. Like bottomless doesn't I don't know. Doesn't need to be in play on this turn. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to play it
Yeah,
here.
maybe he's hoping that another card is committed and then he can brain Caius. But the thing is, you're taking another 2K hit, so then what? You're going to be down to 32 after the brain. It's just not very good. It's just like, I mean, doing that foolish play is far from ideal, but you also like,
Like do
if they
you
just do, which they're not under any incentive really to do anything, then you're kind of screwed. You're in the same position. You're just taking more damage.
Yeah, also the foolish play is like I know this is very very marginal because you still have 32 cards in deck, but you don't
Yeah.
exactly want to draw Dandelion here. So getting it out of the
No,
deck
exactly.
isn't
For
isn't the
real.
worst like thing. So
Well, Veronica must be feeling pretty good here because he's primed with all these monarchs and reactive, removals with Solex and Brain and the Regeki Break to a certain extent. Can't really die because he has the Fader, and that Ryza I think is going to be super punishing when a player is drawing so dead like this. Like if one draw is locked, then you know
yeah,
you're that much farther from getting anything going.
here we see the foolish for Dandelion. So a couple of plays made a turn later, so which
Yeah, I mean
uh
let's be real, he's drawing fucking awful, but like
yeah these draws
you
are
could do other stuff like.
kind of funny. I like it, just really funny. But yeah,
Like the avarice for turn there, it's like he kind of had gone through all his like shit draws, and then it's like, oh, still the avarice.
still the worst possible. Yeah, I mean, there's still like what presumably heavy storm. Like there's still quite a few bad draws here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of bad shit.
yeah.
A lot of
So
bad shit.
Roanoke doesn't do anything further. Here, which
It
is
doesn't tribute for anything, you mean?
yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah, it doesn't tribute for a monarch. I think that that's
Which monarch
okay.
would you? Yeah, I think this seems fine. I think this is a pretty reasonable play, and he's gonna
I know this is
get
kind
to
of
the moray
crazy.
with the Regeki break.
I know
Yeah.
this is kind of crazy, but because there's two back row, I'm like actually super tempted to try and Ryza one of them. Like they've obviously been drawing dead.
By
Like
tributing the archer.
yeah, dude.
Well, but bottomless hasn't had a chance to proc the entire game,
But one
and
bottomless is
like
gone. That's my thing. Is I'm like,
torrential book. I
yeah.
mean,
But if it's a 50-50 because there's two back row. So at worst it's a 50-50. At best you draw lock them and the game
what?
ends. You know what I'm
Not a
saying?
50 because it's too bad.
You know what I'm saying? Because like both back row can't be chainable. That's just
They could
bullshit.
be.
What could it be? You know what I'm saying? Like I guess solemn. I guess
Book
does
chains are
shoot.
actually-
It would have to be like yeah, but if let's say you summon
Book
Ryza and you target the book.
book MST.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I guess the MST if he tributed first.
Yeah, if he targeted the MST, then yeah. Like I don't know. Yeah.
This is just gonna get chained. I mean, now he's able to deal with the back rows favorably.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you
Right.
what you discard here, but it's pretty clearly
Moray's
the Moray.
obvious,
Yeah. That's never gonna be live. And there goes the bottomless. Okay. So now you
Now you know both are gone.
now you know
And
the
yeah, I
Ryza's
definitely
gonna be
feel
really
like
good.
yeah, I feel like you can, yeah. Yep. Okay, well, this is the play that he should have done last
Yeah,
turn, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, yeah, exactly, 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 exactly.
it's a little, but it's like kind of too little too late because if you just look at kind of the card quality that Beast Beats has and like every single combination of cards in Ronik's hand is a +1,
Yeah.
whereas Beast Beat has like two cards that are inherent minus, three cards that are inherent minus one because it says a book, and then one card that's completely dead, and like a 1-for-1 that's not very good, and he just drew Mobius for the Mirror Force.
So
Like,
I
so
want to talk about brain control and soul exchange here, and I want to
talk
see
about it.
which one you lead on because I'm actually
Um,
inclined to lead on uh one of these, but I'm not sure which one it is in this matchup. Obviously, one book is gone, right? So that factors into your do you lead on brain control here? And
well, I guess the upset. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I lead on Brain because like it's all this stuff that's like depending on how Beast Beats draws over the next couple turns, like if he sets a Raikou or something, then Solex could let the Mobius come down there.
I mean,
Um,
either way, you can just Monarch over your Monarch and hit a Raikou, right?
well,
But
but that's assuming that the Monarch sticks and isn't dealt with in some way.
both bottomless are gone, and you're not attacking because of the Solex. You know?
Yeah, but torrential or and then it's like forcing you to it's like a drawn solemn that I don't know. I mean, I would probably lead on the brain. It's also like more damage quicker
Yeah.
if he swings with the Kai's first.
Okay. Well, brain is
But
gonna
it does
be
get punished here, I think. Like, right? He books it.
yeah. It's got to be punished by the book, and then
Yeah, I mean, in this case, definitely Solex would have been better, but one book already being gone.
yeah, and now two books are gone. Um,
Little does he know.
little does he know there's a third. There's a third
Yeah,
book.
I mean, Solex would have been a significantly better result there. I can't deny this.
Lone Fire actually one of the best draws because getting
Yeah.
Titanial here is fucking crazy, man.
It
It's
puts a lot of
fucking
pressure on the
crazy.
board and also like with I mean he's gonna fader it, but with the brain control in hand, you're playing a pretty real life point clock.
Yeah, facts. Dead ass. No cap. On God. And it turns on your avarice if your board ever gets dealt with, which I think is
Yeah, yeah,
like,
you're getting closer.
yeah, you have 5 monsters now total in circulation. You know? You know what I'm saying. Here comes the Battle Fader. Uh, you know?
Just set
It's just
set both, yeah.
it's just out here, you know? Enemy
Well,
controller, the
that's a good
draw.
draw.
I actually don't think it's a good draw at
How
all.
is it not?
Cause what does it do? What are you doing with this hand?
Uh, you just Solex the Titanial and or it doesn't matter. Solex something he negates, and then you can econ.
Are you
Hey,
econ taking the Caius? Because I feel like
yeah,
I feel like I wouldn't. I feel like I would just
two
sack
books
him
are
on.
gone.
Yeah, two books are gone, but like, let's say that they have whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's like no, you gotta be more specific than that.
Like okay,
The third book.
let's say they have torrential, right?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
solemn,
You could just rise it, yeah.
or yeah. I feel like just going for a monarch.
Probably rise it.
Yeah, probably Ryza, and then targeting their monarch is
But you would lead on Soul
I would for sure lead on
on the
Soul,
Titanium.
but I don't know
Yeah,
how
no,
good using enemy controller is. You
that's
know?
fine. I think that the good thing about it is well, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad draw here. I don't think it's a bad draw here at all. Like it's
No, it's not a
fine.
bad draw, but like, are you playing it right now? That's
I guess
what.
not. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you can Soul first and then see what they do, and then you can probably just rise at them. You don't really need to econ.
Yeah, and another thing is like, also, econ can help. like let's say your monarch gets solemned, which is how the econ will get blown out, basically, right? Because then you'd just be fucking screwed. Econ can buy you a turn later where you like set a monster, set econ, and then they attack and you switch them to defense, and then you can sack for monarch. So it can act as
Were you
like,
saying the econ gets solemned or the monarch gets solemned?
so let's say your monarch gets solemn. Like let's say you don't go for the econ. Let's say you go Soul X,
Oh, okay.
target
And then the
whatever,
monarch gets solemned. All
and then
right,
the
sorry. I thought
monarch
you
gets
were talking
solemned.
about something else.
Then you still have this econ, which is like a layer of defense. Whereas if you go
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
econ,
exactly. That's why I like it as well. Yeah.
yeah, you have 3 monarchs and you have 1 econ, but econ's a little bit more versatile here. So you would spend one of your monarchs as a way through the back row instead of spending your more versatile card and then being stuck with 3 monarchs, basically, I guess, is how I would approach playing into this
Sure.
back row
Yeah,
situation.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um,
Seems reasonable.
yeah.
Yep, and he negates. I mean, he kind of has to.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
reason to let it go.
And then he
Yeah.
does go for the econ. And I think that this is actually a misplay. I think this is actually just wrong
Yeah,
because now you,
the way you have laid it out, I think it's true. See, I think if I was lower life, I might be more inclined to do this, you know? Like you
yeah.
guarantee clear the Caius,
Yeah.
but you can take a few more hits, so
Yeah. And Cold Wave is actually like a pretty solid draw here. Like you can just play it. I would have probably played it, but
what do you have the force set? He has force
yeah,
set,
yeah,
right?
you have 4 set, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I mean, I would have probably played it, you know?
I think you probably could have played it too. It's not a particularly good draw here, though. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just having the conversation about Gold.
Swap Frog is a good draw because you can pitch the Mobius to special it, which
You would do that?
yeah. Yeah, I would 100% do that because if you take another hit from this Caius, all of a sudden
I guess you have no defense, yeah.
you're in
If he
Drill
draws
Warrior
in a
range.
monster scheme.
Yeah, Drill Warrior
So,
range. Yeah.
yeah, I
like-
guess you have to special send.
and he
No,
doesn't.
he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah, and this is like I think this is like a big mistake because if you don't do that, then all of a sudden like even if they don't draw a monster later in the game, you're at 1200. You have to have Fader for every Drill Warrior attack, or else you just lose.
Yeah, and you got to imagine that they have like some amount of avarice in hand. I feel like at this point, that's the most obvious thing you would put them on.
Yeah, and so
like,
Ryza or Caius on this or Ryza or Caius on this Caius, yeah, would be like just amazing here. Like
oh well,
totally
I
stabilizing.
meant it. I mean, yes, like it would take them off avarice. I meant it just the way I was phrasing it was more in the way like, that even though they don't have that many cards in hand to make a drill warrior, for example, like that avarice is going to turn into 2 more cards pretty quick. So the idea that you're going to keep them off enough cards forever to do that is not likely.
Yeah, I think this is actually the worst play is normal summon Swap Frog and then leave it in play. I think either you're going to normal summon it and then bounce it and then hope they don't play into Gores or something, which
Well,
obviously they're
no,
going
I mean,
to.
I think this is better than that because it's like I think he just summoned it and realized he didn't want to die,
Either
and then but he doesn't.
well, if you realize
think
that,
that
then
specialing
you should bounce
is
it
good
and then
too.
special it in defense by pitching the Mobius. Like either way, you should put it like
Well,
can,
you should have just. I wouldn't do that because I would have just specialed it first. But
yeah, but like after you've made this mistake, you can recover by putting it in defense. Is what I'm saying. You get what
well, I
I'm saying?
wouldn't do that because it's like nothing can kill you other than
Debris Dragon kills you. I guess it
I-
kills you regardless
it
because
does.
of Black
doesn't.
Rose. What do you mean?
It's 30.
8?
Uh,
It's 38.
Oh, 38. Sorry, I was looking
Yeah.
at Beast Beats Life.
Yeah. Yeah, but if
Um,
you put the swap in defense, Debris Dragon kills you anyway because of Black
Yeah.
Rose.
So I think if you decide that you're gonna not special it
I just
Mobius,
think
then I feel like this is fine.
I think
But I
that
think that was the play in the first place.
yeah, I think this is just like a straight up misplay, which I mean, it happens, you know. Like sometimes you think you're more safe than you are, but you got to think of I think especially against decks like Quick Draw and I mean just in general, you got to think a little bit ahead and you got to think about like how am I winning this game versus how am I not losing this game, I guess. Does that make sense?
Wait, what does he do here?
What do you mean?
Because he
What does
has
he do here?
he has game.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. I don't know if he goes for it. I think he just
Yeah, I think I watched this replay briefly, and I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
but he could in
I've
theory
never seen that come up before.
brain the swap, attack directly with both, bounce his own Caius, sack it, target itself for lethal, which is a really cool setup.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I've never seen that before.
you've never seen that before. It comes up in like frog mirrors and stuff. It's pretty
I'd
fun.
be taking control to swap and bouncing.
Yeah,
Never
it's
seen.
if 4400 is kind of like one of those magic numbers in the frog mirror,
Yeah,
and
sure.
like just because of swap frog Kai's setups. But yeah, hey, just attacks. I think this is a little bit. I don't want to say like sus, but
What, the
I mean,
attack or
yeah, like obviously it's missing lethal because the
yeah,
swap frog was the draw for turn, right? Like
right.
otherwise they would have played it well earlier. Their hand is like dead shit. Otherwise they would have played it on the turn you stop the econ, right?
Yeah, it's got to be some amount of monarchs.
Yeah, and so I think you just go for lethal. I think maybe Beast Beats just didn't see it, and I think you're still in a
Well, because the thing is, even worst case, they have another fader or trag or something. But the thing is, then you're still in better position because you still do the same play. You swap bounce the Kai's, tribute their swap, banish whatever
they
battle
summoned.
stopper they had.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
banish Trag,
Well, unless it's
Fader,
specifically like, no, it
Gore.
doesn't even
Yeah,
matter
even
because
Gores doesn't matter because the
yeah,
thousand would come first. They'd have to Gores the
yeah,
thousand, then you Caius the Gores.
yeah,
Yeah. Either way,
exactly.
this brain control is looking very dangerous because being at 2200 now, any monarch you summon is going to be lethal on you. Unless you get your opponent below uh 4000. So Roundhook's going to need to hit like Space Typhoon on the next draw in order to clear this Mirror Force, in order to get Beast Beats out of brain control range, basically. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
And I think Beast Beats makes a great play in setting the Dead Avarice and Cold Wave. I think this is very good because now it's like
I don't think you need to set both, to be honest. I think I would just set whichever one I think is weaker, which is probably the avarice. Because
I
I
think
like keeping drill targets, I
yeah,
find.
no, for sure I like that, but I
Targets to
don't
discard for drill.
I don't think the game is going to go that long. You know what I mean?
I
I
don't
think
either. I just think like it's
I
pretty
think
clear
like
to Rodnick that one of those is a bluff, right? So it's just like,
yeah, so you would go for the original one regardless.
yeah.
I think yeah, and I think that's
So I think
something
it's just kind of
obvious.
unnecessary, but it also just like you said, the game's not going to really go long enough for it to matter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Although
for
like
sure.
it is a deck that plays, I mean, we see he plays Mobius, but it like could play Mobius, so you
Yeah.
know it's not as risk free, even though the storm's gone as it usually is in other matchups.
So this is an interesting spot because Raunuk could bring back Treeborn, then Solex the Caius, and have the Treeborn as a blocker for his own
I
life
would
points.
do that, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
think he kind of has to.
yeah. So that's kind of that's
Although,
one of
like
the
you
things
said a
you could
second
do.
ago, the Black Rose still pierces through it, but
Yep. And here's a Mobius. Mobius targets one, only that one. And then I think Raunuk
I
misplays
think you
by
got to
not.
target two. I
I think
think you,
first off you got to target two because they would only set three here because they know Storm is gone. And I also think that you have to target the original one because that's the one that's clearly not a bluff. You know what I mean?
yeah, and you still know it's not any of the bottomlesses or the final. He's used all three books, so
Yeah, exactly.
I would just
Exactly.
target two. I mean, it's one of those situations that like it seems like you lose this game if you let them like resolve an avarice or really like do anything. Like you're just kind of too low life, and like even though you can spam monarchs over a couple turns, like if I'm in Ronok's position, I'm not feeling particularly good. So there are just some risks you have to take in favor of winning the game, you know?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I think that targeting two is like obviously they're gonna feel safe setting three into no storm. So I think targeting two is like it's totally fine.
Yeah, if anything, that's like the perk of Mobius, right? Like your storm's gone, they set a little more than they should, and
Yeah, and then
so if you're
you get
not
to
going to take
punish
advantage
that.
of it, then
Yeah, then why play that card? Just play a different monarch at that point. Like play a Thestalos. You know what I mean? Like
this would have been good here.
Thestalos would have been good. No cap. Because either hitting the Avarice or the Brain would have been. I mean, they have another Avarice, but you know.
This really is a perfect example of Cold Wave not being very good, though. I will say.
He could have
Uh,
played the Cold Wave on an earlier turn and locked him out. Like he could have played Cold Wave last turn and locked him out of using the Soul Exchange, and it would have just been like a one game. So I think he should have just done that. And he also missed lethal.
He
But
would have distributed the Treeborn.
what's that?
He wouldn't have done it. It wouldn't have done anything there. He would have
Oh, okay,
distributed
yeah,
the
yeah.
Treeborn.
I guess. But
But
then you untap and you guarantee lethal with the brain control. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Positionally, it wins you the game, right? I could be wrong.
No, I mean, I guess you brain and depending on the draw you win. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is just game because he's gonna be able to brain Caius here and go for game. So, and there's
The
nothing.
swing direct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and he only has the one Treeborn, so I mean, just as
Yeah. So that was a really interesting game. Do you have any like closing remarks on that game specifically before we move on to game two?
well, I think that there's a thing that happens like when you're holding something like a Brain Caius that which is obviously super powerful combo in the format, but like you're waiting for them to put the second card on the board, and for whatever reason, whether they're reading the Brain Caius or some combination like that, or just whatever they're drawing doesn't permit it, a lot of people aren't going to give you that opportunity. So like I think knowing when like you want to cash those two cards in for max value, which is like brain a thing, attack over something, banish something else, that's a super huge swing, but people aren't going to give you that, especially someone decent. So you got to know when to adjust your game plan a little bit and not be so hopeful. And I think that not going for the foolish dandelion a turn earlier was kind of just a result of that. Like you were just thinking that like, okay, I'm gonna blow up. Beast Beats was thinking that he's gonna blow him out with Brain Caius, but like, of course, Runnock's not gonna give him that opportunity. And then on Runnock's end, it's almost like same thing but slightly different. I mean, different, just different decks, different cards. But like, I think it was just a little too passive and like not. I think both players in some ways were like assuming that the other person had drawn really nutty, but like you can't you can't always do that because first of all, you can't play around everything. So
Yeah.
there's no sense in like just being like, oh, this guy has the complete nuts. I better like not do anything and like turtle up or whatever. Like you can't play like that. So you got to like take the small pushes that you can, like you were saying, like whether that be poking with Archer a turn earlier or
You
taking a
going
risk on the Mobius. Like,
or I think the biggest one for Roundup was like a lot of his game plan. Like it felt like he had conflicting game plans where he didn't recognize like when his game plan needed to change. And I think the term with the enemy controller was like I think you recognize that your opponent has back row, your opponent has ways to interact with what you're doing. I think you need to hold the enemy controller there and then spend one of your monarchs who are more expendable because you have more of them, instead of spending your enemy controller there. And then I also think that poking with the archer a turn earlier, like you had to recognize that that was your game plan. You had to recognize that, oh, my opponent's doing nothing. I have an aggressive card. Let me get aggressive. And I can't really be like if you go through the checklist, right? There are so few things that punish you for summoning archer there as opposed to not summoning archer there. And then getting ahead on that normal summon, that's just like that's when the Frog Monarch deck really overwhelms you. When they're ahead in normal summon, their normal summons are so high quality that it's very, very hard to keep up. So I think that's just something you got to understand as like a macro like thing. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making any sense. Yes? No? Question mark?
sure.
Yeah, all right.
I mean,
Game two.
I don't think about game plans like that. It's like you can think about it pre-match, but like once you're in the match, you draw the cards you draw, and like the percentages within your own deck. But I don't know. Just like game plan is not exactly a word that comes up a lot for me, personally, other than kind of like overarching sideboard strategies I
Well,
might think of
I
as
find
game
that
plan.
I find that very interesting. Like I'm gonna make a side comment on this before we move on to game two, but I think it's very interesting because if you play your deck to its game plan, you're gonna be rewarded by the state of the game that you've created more often than not. Because if your deck functions exceptionally well in certain situations, like let's say, like I said, like the Frog Monarch deck is very good when it's ahead a normal summon. It becomes very difficult for other decks to come back, especially during game one if you're ahead a normal summon. That if you can initiate that sort of circumstance with very little to no drawback, because that's like kind of like a situation or a plan in which your deck thrives, I think you should go for it, even though there may be downsides of like a Shura or a Fire Dog. I think just the upside of knowing that, like, oh, my deck does really well in these situations because of the way the deck functions, the way it's built. Like, I think having an idea of what the game plan is and then like kind of tying it into like positional stuff, I think it's a good way to think about the game in general, and I definitely think about it more than like most people do, I guess. Anyway, sideboarding. What do you sideboard in this matchup, James?
If I'm Beast Beat, there's usually Vanity's Fiend and some combination of, pulling the rug, or I mean, some people do board in Mask of Restrict, which I don't really think is the worst thing. Like, yeah, it conflicts with your own Kai'S's or Vanity's Fiend or Lone Fire, but it just locks out the frog deck completely. So, it's kind of got that oppression effect of like you stick a guy and then you set it and they can't really do anything. So I'm not really even mad at people signing things like that. Mind Crush is a decent card. Yeah, all stuff like that, I would say.
Interesting. And
Or at least
from the frog side of things, do you
Crow.
like
Crow also.
Crow's a good one? Crow's actually a really good one because you can
You have the
even
cycler, yeah.
yeah, even one crow can get both Treeborns if you have a drill
Yeah.
warrior.
And
Yeah.
it's a level one.
Yes.
Like that comes up a lot. Like you're really just trying to pair your cards together.
Yeah. We can see
So
one
a
of the
lot of like
sideboard
bad
cards
level ones is pretty good.
from
Yeah, from Ronak,
Ronak.
he likes that DDV. It's hard because on the builds that they are playing the Lone Fire Titanial and they're boarding in Vanity's Fiend, it's like I think they're often going up in game two from their number of 1500 or less. I don't know. I just find DDV like obviously a blowout, but kind of positionally a hard card to set up, and um,
Yeah, because like look here,
doesn't get you out from under vanities, doesn't get you out from under restrict.
turn one, I would have actually really liked to set the DDV here. I know it's unintuitive because you have the Treeborn engraved and you want that to come back, but I think setting the DDV is fine because next turn you're probably, I mean like, if they do something that makes you want a DDV, like you can activate it next turn. You know what I mean? Like you could pitch Gilman. Obviously you don't want to because of Moray, and also not Moraying on turn one is, I think, really interesting. Like.
So no, I think that's okay because sometimes like you got to think that he has a better chance of drawing a spell or trap the following turn if he doesn't shuffle back um, the swap and the Gilman. Like he has a better chance of drawing. Like if he shuffles back turn one, then he could draw the Gilman for turn. I mean, these are small things, but these are things I think about when I play the fish deck a lot.
Yeah,
And I
and
think that his send tier is fine. Like I'm okay with this.
you're
You
okay
can just
with
DV next turn.
using Substitute uh instead of holding it for the soul exchange. That's another interesting thing.
In this hand, yeah, because you're also like not even sure how many Rakos they have game two. So it's like best case your Solex would hit a set monster, or because there's nothing else that Beast Beats would really put on the board turn his turn one
Yeah.
that you would be able to soul exchange, like Titanial would just negate it.
I'm
The
also
set Dandelion or set Sangan would not be super valuable. So
Yeah, I'm noticing a cool little interaction. Soul Exchange DDV is a very cool way to clear Vanity's Fiends or Caius. That's kind of
yeah,
nasty. I didn't
yeah,
even think about that. That's kind of a
yeah.
interesting
You were
interaction.
sleeping on that.
Yeah, definitely. Sleeping for sure, like
I feel
fast
like
asleep.
MST is not a card that should be in his deck game two, although it could snipe this DV. So.
Shit, man. If it works out, it works out. Maybe it's a misstep. Maybe it's a five head play. You never really know when it comes to these things. You know.
I just don't really feel like MST is that good of a card in Quick Draw in general. So, especially not if your opponent's not playing Oppression. So,
I think MST fucks, but hey, that's just me. I think it's busted. But whatever. If you have it in your opening
against
hand,
frogs.
I would still like. Oh, not against frogs. No, I would have sided it out. Game two, game three. If they're on like
Right.
a,
I could see it, but
game two,
even
I'm
then.
siding it out. Yeah, it seems like a pretty easy side out in this matchup for
The thing
sure.
is, what you just said, like game three, oh, they have traps. Like, but the thing is, like, I mean, we'll see exactly how this particular game goes. He's just setting up for the DTV. He doesn't want to lose it into the opponents.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's
Also, note that he
still
again
doesn't work.
didn't Moray. Is
But
that
what is he
like?
really gonna hit that's gonna be an extender here? If he's
Well,
already
I'm
used his
just
normal
saying.
summon.
I'm thinking like, okay, you could Moray, right? Like, one of the best ways for this frog deck to play into lone back row, like a lot of what people do is they like set a lone bottomless or set a lone, Book of
Yep.
Moon for a monarch. One of the best ways. Ooh, I forgot to pause. one of the best ways for this Diva Frog deck to play into back row or a lone back row is to hit Deep Sea Diva. So I think like going for that, seeing 3 new cards, seeing if you get your Deep Sea Diva and getting your Archer and like getting that sort of pressure going. Like I think that's a really strong opening, and I think I would have not gambled, but you know, basically gambled at a chance of that, especially because what the fuck is Spine Gilman and Swap Frog doing in your hand anyway? You know what I mean? Like I would have. And Ryza's so
I mean, I think
good.
he's also probably trying to draw another water so he can keep the swap frog because he does want to keep it. I mean, I'm not mad at holding it because again, I just think there's not that much good stuff he could draw other than like Dush Shoot,
I think
which
Diva would
I
be
mean,
insane.
sure.
I
I mean,
think
I'm just saying specifically that turn that he could use that turn that he wouldn't want to save it.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I think hitting Diva, I think hitting Diva at that point would have been like high enough upside, and there's still 3 Divas and potentially 1 Dust Shoot, and that's 4 cards. Like,
He summoned Reza that turn.
no, I'm saying yeah, but you wouldn't have. Like, you would have saved the Ryza, summoned Diva instead. Like, I think that's just better. Like you
And
want
maybe
to,
what?
you want your he wouldn't have. He would have just got Archer and made it 2,000 with the Treeborn, and then attack direct.
I don't know. I think you could use your diva even more. I think you'd probably want to use your diva to make a catastor the following turn if they were able to disrupt your treeborn somehow. Like you might want to keep it for
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
So I just don't even know if I would have gone. Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with this.
Either
But he does.
way,
I feel like he would want to convert it soon though.
from Beast Beat's perspective, I think setting Raikou here is a mistake. I think you should just Lone Fire into Titanial because you have the call.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think Raiko is like shit
yeah,
in this matchup in general. It's almost a concession that you like have to keep it in because charge is so good. And I don't even know if I agree with that, but it's like that's I think what a lot of people operate under.
yeah. I
Like it's
think
not a very good card to draw. So
yeah, I think in general going Lone Fire Titanial here is cash money, and I think setting Raikou here is bitch made. So whatever. And if you set Raikou here, at least set the Typhoon. Like, come on. Like, when is your
I think you could also set the dandy. I mean, it gets cast, but if it doesn't, then
then
you
you
have to
have
low
Lone Fire
fire.
Dandy. Yeah, I think setting Raikou
This
is
is the worst one.
probably the
Worst of
worst
the three,
option. Yeah, I think I would
for sure.
personally have gone for Lone Fire Titanial, try to get a hit in,
Yeah.
and then I
Oh,
would have,
yeah.
and then either way I'm setting Typhoon. No matter what, I'm setting Typhoon, and you
Well,
know,
are you setting type good call then? You're setting both.
no, I'm just setting Typhoon.
Oh, well then but you said you had the call. Okay, well whatever.
You get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Like, you have the call for the Titanial like later.
Later.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I might rather get the call down sooner because if you did do the Lone Fire Titanial, then you could always
Negate a Monarch, then
find another
call it.
Dandelion or I mean you have the Dandelion in hand already, but you could just
Actually,
set a
yeah,
bunch of plant guys, you know?
yeah. If
Like
you
that's
just
kind of
go
how you win the matchup. Like
if you just go Lone Fire Titanial, set call only, like,
yeah,
okay,
that's what I mean.
that's strong. I like that.
Not bad. I mean all these plays are not bad. I think this is the worst of the 3 or 4 that we just mentioned.
Yeah, this is like
But he kind of, let's say, baits the Caius, although the degree to which that is a bait is
yeah, but now like look at this
because he just
fucking
gets smacked.
deck
Yeah.
dev. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he gets to keep the tokens, and Maber's always called, but it's not certainly not good. And if
Yeah.
he MSTs here, he's a chump.
If Rauna doesn't deck dev in the draw phase, he could theoretically Lone Fire tribute it
Yeah,
with priority.
sure.
And then
Right.
if Rauna chains DDV, then just get
Yeah.
Titanial on the first one.
Well, yeah, there'd be no. Oh, unless
Oh my god.
it's really
That's
unlucky because
that's
I
fucked
don't feel
up.
like it's very likely he was going to draw phase it.
Well, an interesting thing you could do here, and this isn't good. This isn't good. But you can tribute set the Titanial. You can on the tokens. Because the tokens say they can't be used
How
for
would you tribute?
a tribute summon, but they can be used for a tribute set.
I don't know if that's true.
They can be used for a tribute set. And this is
I don't. I'm gonna
back
I'm gonna
back in the day, they
challenge
would
that a little bit.
no, they would actually use this. They would I think was it Jeff Jones? Someone did it to tribute set a lad in the fucking feature match. So this is a
Right,
play. This is a
right.
play that people did back in the day. Like they would tribute set the tokens. Like they would Foolish Dandy tribute set Lad, tribute set Titanial. But I don't think it's good because then they just monarch your Titanial. You know what I mean? Like, and Raunic doesn't DDB, which is
I don't think you can tribute set.
You can.
I'm looking it up right now.
You
I'm
can
looking it up.
for sure tribute set. I know this
I'm
100%.
looking it up right
I know
now.
100% you can do this.
I'm almost positive you can.
I am
I'm looking it up
100%
right
you
now.
can. I'm 100% you can.
I think you're wrong.
I'm 100% you can. You can use them for a tribute set.
You're wrong.
Do you want me to Google? Do you want me to Google? I'll Google it right now.
I literally just did. I literally just did.
Is in 2010. In 2010, you can use it to tribute set. I'm dead ass.
You can't use it to treat.
Hold on. Dandelion tribute set.
We're gonna get the same result. We googled the same thing.
Did we Google the same thing? What did you click on? What link did you click on?
There's a Pojo thread. There's a number of
card tips.
This is it. We'll deal with it after.
Oh yeah, we'll figure this out after. We'll put it in the comments below. Let us know in the comments what you think. Can you tribute set? Because it does say specifically tribute set.
Let us. Well, you all weigh in.
Yeah, let us know your made up rulings for this format because I want to hear them. All right, next play.
Yeah, you're gonna pass them off as real.
All right, sets the Typhoon finally. Now that it's already like.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is, if he did set the Typhoon at like any of these prior points, he would have probably avoided dying.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously drawing Titanial here is like you get fucking punished for making this shitty Raikou play, but I mean, you deserve it because you made the shitty play.
I'm saying
like fuck you.
He's like almost definitely going to lose now if the DDV resolves and just I don't know.
Shit, man. Shit, maybe. Standby phase using the DDV to make sure you can get back to your Treeborn Frog. Okay, interesting.
And he just doesn't want to attack into a Raikou, you know. Like normally, maybe you would attack, try to bait like a Mirror Force or something, etc. But
yeah. Said True Titanial for turn. Yeah, I mean it wouldn't have happened.
But
if
like the call is like
turn.
maybe keeping him. I mean he's fucked. But see, this is what I said. He wanted to keep the swap.
Yeah. To be able to bounce. Nothing.
Well, just to have, swap is good. Dude.
Yeah. It's just a good card in general. It like thins your deck. It lets you reuse your busted shit. I mean, it's just.
Well, it converts any shitty water you draw to a free special free mon.
What is going on? Okay, Crow goes. You can't chain Crow once the DDV has already resolved. That's just it's like what is it, continuous at that point, or it's just...
is the bounce Treeborn good here?
No. No, maybe, I don't know.
It seems okay. I guess you can convert the swap in hand.
Yeah, but like, I guess all of Beast Beat's hand, so I guess it's okay.
So what are you really afraid of?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I don't know. You know,
it seems a little slow though, right? Like, can't you just Monarch him? I guess you don't know the first back row, but
yeah. I guess you could have the read into bottomless because like that's the only thing that like hasn't gotten
right. And I guess if you targeted the other one, then it gets chained. Okay, now the Titanial comes down.
So here's the call. Here's a call that you had mentioned, and
I mean this is like I said. I just mentioned it in the sense that this is the only thing that can give him like he's playing Level Eater.
Yeah, and that was the draw for turn. Actually, not a bad draw for turn because it's
well, yeah, lets him proc.
It's a little dude, you know.
Little
guy, just a little boy. These I have to imagine are gonna hit the tokens, and he pitched the Treeborn here to special the swap, so he can still Monarch or Solex. Oh, he can't Solex because he's gonna use his battle phase, but he can still Monarch here. Yeah. One thing I
so
maybe
attack the tokens, then like
I would
MST the back row.
I would MST the back row here for sure.
First, yeah.
Okay. So he just didn't.
Yeah, I think whatever you would hit there, it's worth to MST. The punish would be call, but there's call.
Also, like, why the fuck don't you try to clear this Titanial right now? Is there a reason for that?
Is to just Kaios it.
Yeah, like because you're gonna have to do that eventually.
I mean, you're gonna Solex next turn. You can like double Solex, and then you're guaranteed to keep your guy on board. I guess you're high enough life. He has 0 cards, so
he has a level eater.
You know,
he has a little bug boy. All right, don't disrespect the level eater. That's a real card.
His best draw here is what, Debris, and
no, because this is turn. Oh, I guess that was the third turn. The last turn was the third turn. Yeah, so is Debris?
No, he milled Crow and level eater.
Yeah,
so this is the third turn.
Yeah,
so we can't draw Debris.
this would be the third turn, I suppose. But this is a huh.
I just don't know why he sets two. Like setting multiples in a deck that is known to play traps. Like sure, like they're gonna be afraid of all your traps. This
Also,
guy
just
plays
like
like
why wouldn't
four
you
traps.
why wouldn't you fucking Typhoon there? Like, am I just like high? Like, best case scenario, he protects it with Titanial. That'd be amazing. Like what is it? He's
I mean, I
held
don't think
Dust
there's anything
Shoot.
that he would do that for, but
Yeah, like maybe Solemn. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
no,
I don't fucking know.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just worth it for basically like this is the punish. I mean, although it ended up being the same result, but if he had hit the threatening roar, then things would get a little dicey. So wait, does he discard this?
No, he can tribute the Level Eater for it. Bring the
So
Level
he's
Eater
not
back.
under he's not under DDP. We
He's
miscounted
not under
turns.
DVD. Yeah, somehow we missed a draw. Or did they miss a draw? When did he activate it? He activated it on his turn.
Did he?
Does it count
Right,
opponent's
but
turns or does it count your turns?
it counts
It counts.
opponent's turns.
It counts opponent's turns. So he would have.
No, but did he draw a spell or trap one of those turns? I just didn't see.
I don't think so, because we knew his hand was Brain Titanial Call, right? And
Yes, he drew MST.
DD Crow Level Eater. No,
He drew
MST was they
MST
set
was in hand for a while.
they set MST before the DDV was activated.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
So
MST was the set
maybe
card.
He should have discarded the quick draw. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think the quick draw should be discarded here. I think it should be. I could be wrong though. Maybe let us know in the comments if we're wrong. We love to hear it. We love to hear you guys.
Multiple times.
Yeah, and it's never happened. Never lost, never wrong. But
He makes a Turbo Warrior here, I think.
I guess
if
they miss.
recall this
How did they
correctly.
miscount? Roundup says 3 out of 3, but there was never a 2 or a 1 out of 3. Like what?
I don't know.
Am
I
I
don't
just
know.
like? Am I just high? Well, I guess he's counting. Like, is he counting his own turns? Shit, I don't
Doesn't
know.
do that.
I don't know. Either way, bit of
If you
a
activate it on your turn, their turn is the first turn.
yeah, exactly. Level Eater comes back, and eats a Titanial level. You get to make a Turbo Warrior here, which is another fucking threat that the Monarch deck has to deal with.
No, just attacking. He roars. He main phase 2. Lovely
Level
moves.
Eaters.
DD Crow's a great draw just as far as comeback plays, Avarice, Debris.
Yeah,
And now you can just slam those double soul exchange, cash them in, and you're going to be in great position.
yeah, I think so too.
And you can bounce the Caius. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. Any sideboarding changes, I think if you're Beast Beats, you're probably taking out the MST. I I don't know.
But you said if you saw traps, you would keep in the MSD. What is it?
But what traps did you see? You saw DDV and
Roar.
Threatening Roar. Why is Red Threatening? I guess Threatening Roar is okay against like the race, like when you get
Makes
into the
sense to me.
Drill Warrior race.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I don't really get it. Yeah, I think it's a little too passive. For the same reason I don't like Battle Fader in this matchup or in
Draw is
general.
not like an OTK deck, especially in this matchup. Like, what?
No, you can get into races, like race situations where you need to stall an extra turn against the Drill Warrior, which you like can't interact
The
with.
card
But
game, not racing.
it could be like NASCAR, like you're just moving fast. You gotta go fast. Cars the movie, Lightning McQueen.
There's 2.
Do you rug this?
Okay, wait, hold on. And this is an actual. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
I read this because my head is shit.
yeah, but
And the faster he
Mhm.
gets set up, like, I want to keep him off Treeborn.
man,
I'll
this
rug it.
this card is ass. Night
I do
ass.
not like that card,
I think this card is a meme.
especially in this matchup. Like, it's when you draw it, it is not good, and especially in this matchup,
Yeah, it's
it
like
is not good when you draw it. Maybe
it's-
your bug is not a good card.
it's
Sorry.
literally Raikou, but worse because it doesn't mill when it resolves in this matchup. You know what I mean? Like, and also you want to side out your flip effect monsters in this matchup. So why is it? This is the worst one
So
because
you don't want to reuse your flip effects because they suck.
yeah, and this one is the worst flip effect monster because it's only good when you have other ones. You know what I mean? Like,
Agreed.
yeah. So
Anyway,
yeah, that's
so he lets it go.
you know,
He
yes,
lets it go.
yeah, he lets it go.
I mean, here's the thing. The rug on the swap or waiting for a monarch is always a dicey thing. But first of all, Swap is good. Swap is utilized in like a lot of different ways in this deck. So like them not having the swap later to special is pretty relevant. The chances that you're actually going to keep them off of Treeborn Frog for an extended period of time pretty low, especially because he's going to recycle his hand with the Moray we see. But like it's either either way, the utility of Rug is to kind of walk them for a turn, right? Like burn their normal summon and stop their turn. And it's better if they have to tribute a monster, but if that monster was free anyway, which they're now having set up, then it doesn't really matter. It's like the same. It just makes them spend another turn to normal another swap frog or normal a substitute or whatever.
Exactly. I think
So
they're gonna get so
this
much
has like the most
advantage.
upside. And with a hand like this specifically, you can set up situations where it's like you plop a bunch of monsters on the board, they need to have a specific monarch in order to do anything, and
Yeah,
then you rug them and you just win. But this is not a hand that you can do that. So I would just try to like stave off the bleeding as much as I can, you know?
yeah. Over the next few turns, they're gonna get at least a +1 or +2 or +3 or +4 or +5 off this Treeborn Frog. Like this Treeborn Frog is going to give them more than any one monarch is going to give them, and this Swap Frog potentially is too. So
Yeah.
I think you stop it here. I think that
I think
that's
you got it.
yeah. I think
Sucks
that's
though, but I mean, you're always kind of praying that they don't have like the nut hand to play through it, but
the only way you get rewarded for this play is if you top deck specifically Dandelion on the next turn. So we'll see if that happens. You know, we'll see.
yeah.
We'll
Well,
see.
and game two and three, like, that rug might not even get value from an additional monarch because there's all this stuff like Vanity's Fiend. There's even like Ronak seemed like the type of guy to even do some crazy stuff like tribute set the Caius to play around a bottomless or rug in case he has the DDV, you know? So it's like that rug, you're thinking you're going to save it for a monarch. That monarch might not even come,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah, totally. Sangan at normally would be a really shit draw, but you have the combo. You have
Actually,
the
a pretty good
torrential.
draw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
have
a
the
pretty
torrential.
insane draw here.
Yeah, like just because you have torrential. If you didn't have torrential here, Sangan would suck. It would be very bad. Well, I guess not because you would rug the monarch and then search lone fire like
It's good
tribute.
here.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good. But if you don't have traps, it would have been awkward. But you know,
I'm just summoning it and attacking and setting the torrential.
uh, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Yeah, and it looks like Beast Beats is on board for that.
Yes, he heard us.
He's
He
putting
heard
on
us.
the Beast Beats. You know, that's his that's his,
Oh,
yeah. Hmm? You
he's
didn't.
not set the TT.
Okay. Sorry. What? Like,
I
wait.
mean, he thinks he's gonna block it with the rug and then like set the torrential next turn and not be so open to storm. But the thing is that even the one for one storm into a monarch, you fucking lose the game. So maybe you just accept the
Yeah.
fact that I would have set the torrential.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have. I would have also set the torrential. Because even if they have something like Vanity's Fiend, you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah,
can't rug that. Like,
yeah.
all of
You'd
a
be forced
sudden,
to
yeah,
actually your own guy or something.
yeah. I don't.
I don't like it.
You know, this
I mean,
play.
they're not particularly good at playing through back row. Like the deck is not good at playing through back row. So if you set a lot of back row, it's that game plan, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and especially if your back row is straight up hard
Good.
negation, like pulling the rug.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Uh, Fortunately for well, I don't know. I wouldn't even say fortunately because here you could have spent the torrential and then you would have saved the rug for something like a
Yep.
diva or the swap
A lot
frog you
better.
know they have. Yeah, yeah. So this is a misuse of your resources. I think personally. I just
Well, and like it's a yeah, I mean sure Ronick loses his turn, but this is the type of situation where the Frogmother deck doesn't care about and especially the Diva Frog deck. Like look at his plays, like even if that Treeborn gets banished right now or shuffled by the transmigration, like he has plenty of gas. Like spending a turn, he takes 1,000 damage, he gets the rug out of the way, now he's just free to do his thing.
yeah. I think this transmigration prophecy card is fucking terrible. By the way, I just want to throw that out there. This card is worse than
I
Crow.
always thought it was like gonna be good or something, but it actually sucks.
This card is worse than Crow in every conceivable situation because shuffling something back into the deck, it's just not as good as banishing it in this format. I think personally, me Keegan, duelist Keegan, I think this card is ass. You know, that's my stamp of ass approval. Don't play that card. Just cut it from all your decks. That's you'll be happier. You'll be a happier person, James. Uh,
Facts.
shit, man. Doesn't even set the transmigration. Sus, my guy. Sus. And now Roundhook's drawn Dust Tornado. This is interesting.
What
Because
a weird trap lineup. He's got Roar, DDV, Dust Tornado. Like those are the best ones you could find.
and Regeki Break. Didn't we see Regeki Break in
Yeah.
game 1? I
I'm
mean,
always like, how many traps is it, bro? Like how many? Like six, seven? Like what?
I think I
There's
think
one of each of them. Like
I think the discard traps are very good. Like when I play
I think discard
frogs,
traps are fine.
I play some number of the discard traps. I think you don't need like
I think post board the discard traps are quite good. Yeah.
yeah, I think the discard traps just, they're like they do what you need to do for the deck. And I think that Roar is okay against like OTK decks like Fish and what's the other one? Dragon Turbo. I think Roar is very good against that. So it's all right, but man, deck devastation and Dust Tornado too. That's a lot of traps.
So many. Just so many.
That's a lot of traps. I mean, they're not like
Goes
they're
against
not
the game
bad.
plan of his deck.
They're not bad. I don't get me wrong. I don't think they're all like. I think those cards are fucking insane. I think DDV is fucking insane in the right matchup. Obviously, it was great the last game. So, hey,
So he
shit.
just does this little loopy boys.
Yeah, if I'm Beast Beats, I'm actually chaining to one of these Swap Frog Sends. I'm chaining the Tarantula to one of the Swap Frog Sends because you don't want to let
Oh,
them.
for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to let them get a fucking Dupe Frog in play. So if the first Swap Frog that comes out, their effect activates, chain the Tarantula because you get priority again,
Yep.
and then they won't
Hundo.
get to mill their shit, and they won't get to summon their shit and search their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And oh wait, maybe he does this.
yeah. Maybe he does it on the second swap. Okay. Something clicked. Something
We
clicked.
knew.
Yeah,
We knew. He heard us.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
did.
back in
Yeah, you
time.
gotta do it here. You gotta do it here.
You should have done it on the first one, but yeah, you got to do it here. I mean, that's just facts. Oh,
And the thing is, you want to do it on the first one too because you're not even. Oh, okay.
okay, never mind.
You're not even sure. Like you're never sure how many they drew. So predicting the exact way that they're gonna send and mill out and what order is, I would say, impossible.
Bro,
Um,
why are you moraing before the dupe frogs are out? Like, please tell me. Please tell me, why are you moraing before the dupe frogs are out?
that well, because he wants to special the third swap. That's probably why. But
But he said think on this swap. I would just go for double dupe then moray. You know?
I mean,
I-
I probably would too. But
Like, why are you doing
because
it
I think
this way?
keeping the swap in deck is not bad.
Yeah, but you're drawing 3 cards, and it's like now you're putting back Archer. You have Gilman. You have 2 dupes or 3 dupes. You have 5 cards you don't want to draw that could be out of your deck. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, none of those cards are particularly like drawing a dupe's not bad here. Guess
look,
what? I don't think plays 3 dupes because you can always just bounce the swap and summon it.
yeah, for sure. I mean, lucky for him, he didn't draw. He drew some gasoline. No cap.
But yeah, I guess he gets the third swap. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he goes for the full dupe
He does.
combo.
He does resolve it the way that he
Yeah,
wants.
and
Yeah,
now
I think it was fine.
Beast Beats is gonna have to do some shit because this is a.
Good way to
How do you
start here.
feel? How do you feel about setting both? When
What
you
was the other one? Dust Tornado and what? Reggae.
Regeki Break, yeah, because like I feel like you only need to set Dust, because you don't need
Yeah, I would
to.
rather keep the Regeki break for a Vanity Fiend. That's
And
like the only way you lose this game.
yeah, and also you want your Treeborn Frog to come back on the next turn,
Yes,
and you don't want to be
very much so.
forced to use the Regeki Break right now. I think that's shitty.
Right.
So
Yes.
yeah, I mean it might get used, but hey, shit, here we are, and it does, and it does. Not hitting the original back row, I think, is again. Roundhook's done this twice in this match. I think you always hit the original one because it's the fucking real one. It's guaranteed real. The new ones could be bluffs, and most likely are. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I think you hit the real one here for sure. It's just like a basic game planny thing, And now here you just get. Oh my god, I like. You know what I'm
Well, so
saying?
he selects the Sangan, tributes for the Kaya.
No, he
and then
selects the Raiko. He selects the Raiko.
Oh,
Tribute for Caius. Summon Sangan. Caius.
See,
And then
by not torrentialing, he fooled him into thinking that you didn't have torrentials.
this is actually like
He next leveled us.
he next leveled us. I would have never played like that, but maybe he was thinking I can get more out of this torrential Sangan setup, and he
No,
did.
that's fucking stupid.
It is fucking stupid.
But
He
I mean, there is a way in which actually the stuff that he's putting on board does not threaten you in any way. You know, like so.
well, Swap Frog threatens you. They can just poke you with Swap Frog forever.
He had Sangan.
Yeah, you can.
When he had
Yeah, you
he
can.
had Sangan.
You can poke him. Give him a poke.
But like the only way that the guy was getting over on it uh was another monarch. So waiting until he could for a monarch is not the worst thing, but I don't think that's good. There were a lot of variables there that could have fucked him over. So
Yeah, like he could have dusted the middle back row there.
could have gone store. He could have opted more like a bunch
Yeah.
of things.
I think going for the 2 new sets is wrong. I think you 100% because like he said, think on swap activation.
I don't know what that means that he has torrential.
It doesn't mean he has torrential, but it means he has fucking something. It means it is
Yeah, sure.
real. Like that's why I'm always going for the
guess
real
so.
card. Like that's, what maybe he's thinking about a Book of Moon. Maybe he's thinking about it. Whatever. No matter what, I'm still going for the real card. 100% of
Either
the
way,
time.
he gets blown out. So what does Beast Beat search here?
Dandelion. I have to
Dandelion,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah. And now because the Raikou is actually in the grave, you're
That Night Assailant.
not assailant
Hard
live, which is
Good draw, honestly.
funny. Yeah, Trooper's never a bad draw. It's a good card. You could deal a lot of damage.
A lot of damage.
A lot of damage this turn. Yeah. And the Trooper also finds a Lone Fire, which is a great thing for Drill Warrior to find. And Roundhook's gonna be on. I think he has to top deck Vanity Speed, right? Like he's screwed if he doesn't find that this turn. Am I?
I think that they're.
No, he's.
I mean, as far as preventing the Drill Warrior immediately, maybe.
Wait. Why are you
Yeah, see-
aversing? Why are you aversing here?
See, this is kind of the same as the Moray. It's like you don't want to draw those monsters, and your Cold Wave's gone, so you don't necessarily need to avarice. You maybe want those cards as options for your
Yeah.
and there's a very real chance that you might just be killing him with double drill next
And-
turn. So I think shuffling back the quick draw.
Also, shuffling back the Lone Fire, which is like your way to guarantee lethal on the following turn. Because you go Lone Fire, tribute the token for Titanial. And then
Well, that's not.
it's lethal.
I mean,
It's lethal through a Monarch or whatever, or it's lethal through a.
I mean,
DIVA
I
or
would have prioritized keeping the quick draw over that because I think that
double
making
drill.
another drill,
Yeah,
either double drill or just another drill over the course of the game, is like a very good chance to win.
yeah.
So I
That's
wouldn't
a-
have avarice there.
Yeah, that's for
I think
sure.
I think oftentimes it's better to keep the monsters in grave because you don't really want to draw them for turn, and
No, you don't. You want to draw spells and
and you
traps.
want as many options as you can for the drill warrior.
Yeah, avarice is for like late game, or I guess this is.
And it's
sort of
for
late game.
recycling specific things. You know?
Yeah, you want to shuffle back your Black Rose. You want to shuffle back your Debris Dragon. Like you don't want to shuffle back. You want to shuffle back your Titanial, basically. You don't want to
Yeah.
shuffle back options for your Drill Warrior like Lone Fire, Raikou, and then lo and behold, like I don't know, what did he draw? Did he draw
Because
the
there's not that
Raikou?
many. I mean, you
I'm
can
not
draw. No, he recycled the Raikou of the Night Assailant, but
Oh, okay.
like there's. I mean, Gore is actually sort of as a defensive card that might. I mean, it wasn't in this particular case, but it could have been relevant.
Yeah, for sure.
This is game with double drill or just something over the.
Yeah,
Okay. Or Black Rose, whatever. He could do it a million different ways.
yeah. Let's see if he does it a million different ways.
He should do the Black Rose because he could still fader the. No,
Oh, yep. This is you know, you
not the way to do it.
gotta flex the little bug. Gotta flex the little bug.
Well, actually, yeah. The thing is, he can still fader the drill attack direct. So this is
Ooh.
actually not game through fader, and actually would.
Yeah.
So just Black Rosing the Treeborn is guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what I... Well, I mean, that's not game through Crow, so it's like, do you predict Crow or do you predict Fader? It's a 50-50, right? Not really, I guess, but...
I would definitely just Black Rose because if he crows, then...
Then you can still drill direct.
Yeah, it's like you still have so much shit going on. It's
And then
like-
you put them to 500,
Exactly.
turn off Brain, turn off... Yeah. Force them to have
Whereas
both
like
Crow
Fader,
and Fader.
Fader is the one that actually potentially creates a comeback.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, this
Anyway,
game,
crazy game.
our journey is over.
I think there's a few like micro decisions and maybe macro decisions that this game could have gone. Like I feel like any of these three games, except maybe game two because of the virus shit. I feel like game one and game three could have gone either way, and I think that those are definitely some interesting things. You know, you know. That's what's up. Any closing remarks, James, for the people?
No, I mean just you got to be thinking, you know.
Yeah.
These games, you got to have situational awareness. You got to know what cards have been used. You got to know what your deck's trying to do, your game plans, your all
You're
that.
you're
So
yeah, exactly. Facts. Also, if you guys don't know, James has been feeling a little under the weather. And the only way you can make him feel better is by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Make sure
yes. Yep.
if you haven't already subscribed, we're trying to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. I know it's crazy, but I believe that you guys, the Edheads, I believe that you guys can do it. Only about half of you guys are subscribed who are watching this. So, heal James, heal his ailments, all right? Give him the power of your spirit energy via subscription, and like the video. Peace.